We will start with a word of prayer. May I request Senator Agnes Kavindu to pray for this meeting.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Let us pray, and I'm going to use parliamentary prayer. Almighty God, we beseech you to behold with your burden favor and blessings as your servants whom you have been pleased to call into leadership position in this republic. We seek guidance to treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our church. Amen.
Thank you, honorable members. We need to adapt the agenda of the meeting today. May I have a proposer and a seconder?
Chair, I propose.
Chair, second.
Okay, very well. So we need to know who is in the room. So we are going to start with the members, and then our secretariat, and then our representative of various partner organizations, the eventual governor, and your team. Can we start with the member on my far right?
Thank you, Chair. Governor and your team, the secretariat, my colleagues. My name is Lengu, Senator Kajiado, a friend of this committee.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Senator George Bugwa from Nyandarua County, a member of this committee. Governor and your team, karibu sana.
Afternoon again. My name is Agnes Kavindu Mudhama, the Senator for Machakos County and a member of this committee.
Welcome, Governor and your team, and the rest of us. My name is Godfrey Osotsi. I'm the chairperson of this committee and Senator of Vihiga County.
Eric Mani, clerk of the committee.
Lucy Radoli, legal counsel.
Hamon Mahmoud, research officer.
What's upon Kiro, fiscal analyst.
Victor Kimani, Hansel Dowdy Services.
John Perez, Sergeant at Arms.
Let's have the partners.
Good afternoon.
Governor, is your turn.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. Joseph Lengu, Governor Kajiado. I ask my team to.
My name is Felix Muneria, Chief Officer in charge of Housing, Urban Development and Municipalities.
Chair Michael Langat, Personal Assistant to the
Ngong Municipality.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Damaris Teti, Accountant, Ngong Municipality.
The next agenda is administration of oath of witness and tabling of documents, and Governor.
All truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Our clerk.
Chair, we confirm that the office of the clerk received documents from Nol Turesh.
Chair, to the best of my knowledge, we responded and submitted the documents.
So, Waziri, you are not saying the truth.
Chair, thank you so much, Chair.
You need point of order.
Sorry. Who was mandated to bring them here?
No,
Chair, with your permission, let me ask the Chief Officer to respond.
Chief Officer.
We have already prepared Q1 and Q2 financial statements for this financial year, which is where we have begun.
Because they were lumped with the for the executive. That is what I said, and that is exactly what he echoed.
On submission of financial statement, we even read out the.
With the executive, are you not able to access the executive to get the financial statements? And
is what you said last time, that the municipalities were lumped So I don't think the issue of you saying there were,
with regards to the conversation and guidelines or guidance we receive from this committee on the same.
Yes, Your Excellency, proceed.
Chair and honorable members, the conversation we had and the guidance we received from this committee was to begin to allow municipalities to become autonomous. We were guided appropriately. As a county government, we have complied with all the actions that we needed to take to make sure that the municipalities achieve that autonomy. In fact, we pride ourselves, because we also have our other informal conversation, that Kajiado County government is one of the county government that have really set their municipalities on a path of autonomy. And what we were to present today, and which I'm very concerned that my team did not submit the documents, is to show the steps, the milestones that we have achieved until now. We are able to prepare what we are calling quarter one and quarter one report, that finally we have been able to reach there as a county government. I think really the concern here would be, where are the documents which we submitted? I think that is an administrative matter from my end, because while my team is saying they gave the reports to the office of the clerk, but apparently the office of the clerk is saying they do not have the reports. If, Chair, those reports are presented before you, you and the committee will really see the milestones we have made as Kajiado County government with regards to our municipalities. I submit, Chair.
You know, the governor, thank you for that, but if they submitted to us, then they should also have submitted to the Auditor General, because the letter is very clear. The letter that goes out says the documents must also be submitted to the Auditor General. So I don't think your staff are telling you the truth. There must be a problem somewhere, not with us. Senator Mbugua.
I think, Chair, you asked a very good question. What is this comparing thing which made them not comply? And apparently there is none. So I think, Chair, we need to proceed and read the necessary provisions about the non-provision of audit reports and do the necessary, because you had directed the same last year. Nothing has happened. And I don't think the county are taking the recommendations and the deliberations of this committee seriously.
I think if the answer is produced, you will hear that we read out what the law says. And I remember jokingly I said that there are three things that can happen to the accounting officers involved. One is imprisonment. Two is a fine, or three, or both. So the legal officer will read out, but before she does that, let me allow the COP to say something.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not raising this in connection with COP, but I am following the response from the county side, and they are talking of the submitted quarterly reports. You see, the quarterly reports is what at the end of the financial year translates to the financial statements. So when you go to the Urban Areas and Cities Act, Section 46, it is very clear on what actually the county should have done in terms of preparation of financial statements, submitting to the county executive, and then it be submitted to the Auditor General. So I don't know if that is not very clear to the county, but maybe the legal person can also enlighten them. 46 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act is very clear on that.
Very well, you can read out the provisions in law relating to non-submission of financial statements.
And Chair, as she reads, I would also want to know if the county has attorney.
Sit and read, that they will respond to that.
Thank you, Chair. The obligation relating to submission, preparation, keeping proper records and submission of financial reports, Chair, is set out under Section 46 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act, Cap 275, which says the board or town committee shall cause to be kept all proper books and records of account of its income, expenditure, assets, and liabilities. Subsection 2 says within a period of 3 months after the end of each financial year, the board or town committee shall submit to the CEC its accounts for that year for transmission to the Auditor General. And Chair, maybe I can stop there for a bit. The law says transmission, not collation or inclusion in other financial accounts, but simply for transmission to the Auditor General, together with a statement of the income and expenditure of a board for that year, and a statement of the assets and liabilities of a board on the last day of that financial year, and the Auditor General shall prepare a financial audit as required under the Public Audit Act, and shall forward a copy of the report to the relevant board and the CEC in respect of which the audit report is made. Chair, and then we move on to the Public Audit Act. Under Section 47(1), financial statements required under the Constitution, the PFM, or any other legislation shall be submitted to the OAG within 3 months after the end of the fiscal year to which the accounts relate. Then finally, Chair, with respect to what happens in the event that there is a contravention of these requirements of law, Section 62 of the Public Audit Act provides that a person shall not, without justification, fail to provide information required under the Act, without justification, fail to provide information within reasonable time that is required under this Act, submit false or misleading information, misrepresent or knowingly mislead a staff of the Office of the Auditor General, or interfere with the work of the Office of the Auditor General, and in so doing, a person who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to both. Chair, we must also remember that under the PFM, the obligations for public officer to adhere to the requirement with respect to the preparation of financial statements or the use of public resources is also one of the conditions that are considered under Section 96 of the PFM, where an action can be classified as serious or persistent breach of the PFM or the Public Audit Act that may lead to the stoppage of funds where a recommendation may be made by Parliament. So all these sections read together, Chair, show that there are serious consequences for the non-submission of this information to the Auditor General. Thank you, Chair.
So just confirm again, imprisonment for how long?
A person who contravenes subsection 62(1) commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 5 million shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 3 years or to both.
Yeah, the same was read out to your officers, Governor, and the officers affected are the managers in the municipality. Are they here? The managers of the municipality, just raise your hand, we see you.
They are here, Chair.
They are here. The three, I have seen 3 hands. Are they 3 municipalities? Yeah. The Kajiado municipality, Ngong municipality, and the Kitengela municipality. And the chief officer, you are there, and the CEC finance. CEC, you are not there. You are, I remember there was someone else. And the CEC lands. So I think CEC lands on behalf of these officers. You should tell us the 3 options, which one is suitable for you. Do you want to be in prison for 3 years? Or you pay the fine for 5 million? Or we apply both through the governor? CEC for lands.
Thank you, Chair, and the honorable members. Chair, with all humility, I would wish to again say that we took the meeting that we had in May very seriously, and that is why if we were to go through the documents that we presented, we were able to cover a lot of ground that we are asked to do. If in any case, if there is any omission or commission, we pray that Lord that you give us another chance to rectify.
You did well to start implementing the Act, the Urban Areas and Cities Act. But the easiest thing for you to have started with was financial statements, because it's under Section 14 of the same Act. So, honorable members, what do you think we should do to these officers? Do we imprison them right away, or we fine them, or we do both?
Chair, you know, I asked a question and it has not been answered. I asked if the county has a county attorney, because the county attorney should be directing them and advising them properly on these laws before they make those mistakes. So I would want to know if they have a county attorney.
Definitely they have a county attorney, governor.
We do. We have a county attorney.
Is he here?
No, he's not here, but there is a county attorney, and there is a whole office of the county attorney that is properly constituted according to law. I think, Chair, if I may, just to input a little, I said earlier that we pride ourselves as Kajiado County government on the steps we have taken to operationalize our municipalities. I think that is a very important consideration, and I still think that the question of submitting documents, probably the team that submitted from my end need to have proof or show that these documents were submitted and the other way. I think really, if those documents were submitted and we are able to see the steps we have taken, remember municipalities are a continuous creation according to law.
Chair, maybe you're done, Governor? Chair, I think we need to know from your secretariat if some documents were submitted, but I think there is also another gap where the Auditor General is saying that you have not received any. But let's hear from the secretariat if they have submitted.
Secretariat already said they have not received anything to do with the municipality. Was that the case?
And you know, Chair, what I hear what the governor says, but even if they submitted and the Auditor General did not have a look at them, it was an exercise in futility, because for them to go to our crack, they must have gone through the OAG. So whatever they submitted was not audited by OAG, and it adds no value to this committee.
Clerk, can you respond, because you were away when we started? Did you receive any communication on municipalities?
Chair, we have received communication from the municipalities, and which is on our desk. But the letter from the committee was responses to the audited financial statement of the municipalities. Therefore, there are no audit reports for the 3 municipalities that we requested. And the county responded explaining why that was not audited, which is different from what we asked.
Okay, so you have clarified. You had the earlier clerk misled us. Actually, the documents are here. The ones which are in the file. They are here in the file. The only problem, Governor, is that there are 2 issues here. One, the documents should have been processed by the Auditor General as well. So they were not taken to the Auditor General. Number 2, these are not arising from the audit report. So there is no audit report. There are just explanation on the steps that you have undertaken to operationalize a municipality. So the matter, the elephant in the room here is the legal issue of there being no audited report because the financial statements were not provided to the auditor for audit. That's the main issue. Go on record, Senator.
Thank you, Chair, members, Governor, and your team. My name is Senator Chimera from Kwale County, member of this committee. Chair, I will probably ride on this. I don't understand, I came a bit late. Is it that the auditors didn't audit? Or what is the issue? I really don't seem to understand what the discussion is all about. There was no audit done.
There are no audit report because the financial statements were not
available at that
submitted
time.
to the audit. So I think that's the main issue. So we cannot even look at this. We will appreciate it. We cannot look at it because the auditor has not seen it. We only look at what the auditor has processed. Number two, it is outside this one is outside the audit process. We only deal with the audited reports for that. So Waziri, you are still liable for a breach of the law on Public Audit Act and Urban Areas and Cities Act. So, Senator for Kajiado, I want to hear from you. What do you want us to do with you?
Maybe before Chair, we go to that point. Maybe I would really want to ask a few questions to the Governor, maybe with this Waziri. Let me take you a little back to what you've already done. Have you budgeted some money or even do you have budgets for municipalities so that at least the municipality managers, the accountants which they have introduced themselves here as accountants for municipalities can operationalize that budget? And if so, then what is the difficulty of you submitting financial reports to the auditor if you have dispensed some budgets within the municipality? So let me start from there, Chair, so that at least we get into to understand the reason as to why you have not submitted these financial reports, yet you have done quite a lot, indicating from this file. You have done much, steps to operationalize the municipality. And we just need to understand, have you budgeted money to the municipality so that municipality will independently operationalize the budget within your financial year? Governor.
Governor, before you come in, just going back to the minutes of our last meeting, that says the committee observed that the municipalities of Kajiado, Kitengela, and Ongata Rongai did not submit their financial statement to the auditor for audit. Instead, they were audited under the relevant department of the county executive, despite being chartered entities. This practice was found to be contrary to the provisions of PFM Act and the Urban Areas and Cities Act, which require municipalities being self-reporting entities of the county government to independently submit their financial statement for audit. The committee directed the governor to ensure that going forward, all chartered municipalities comply with applicable laws and regulations by submitting their financial statement directly to the Auditor General for audit. That was the minutes of that meeting.
Chair, so that I can comment on the financial statement, let me ask the CC for Finance to respond to the question by Senator Seki on whether we have budgets and that the municipalities are now able to stand alone.
Thank you, Chair, and honorable senators. Yes, our municipalities have their own budgets, but as I indicated earlier, Chair, prior to 2025-2026, the municipalities were operating under the budgets of their mother department with the Department of Lands. And that is why 2025-2026, we were able to do an audit on the municipalities, and that's why we were able to have the Q1 and Q2 audited accounts for the municipalities. But prior to that, they were riding on the mother department, Department of Land and Physical Planning. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, just to add a little more into this and to possibly try and put into perspective the conversation again. In the last committee meeting with the county government, the elephant in the room then was, how come that these chartered municipalities have not been given full autonomy? There are steps stipulated in law to guide the municipalities into that autonomy, to become self-reporting, and to report independent of their county government executive system. What, Chair, I want to bring to the attention of the committee, and which was part of what was directed then, was to allow that process to be complete. That process is now complete. Now, when it comes to financial statement, when that process got completed, which we started in this financial year, I now have here the reports and financial statements for the municipalities since we completed the journey of self-autonomy, and which were actually received by the Office of the Auditor General. So I want to propose, Chair, that really the work that we are given to do as a county government, we have done. We have begun the self-reporting by the municipalities. We have covered 2 terms or 2 quarters. Those reports are here and stamped, received by the Office of the Auditor General. We are not trying to, disregard or belittle, but we also want to be truthful that, Chair, we did what we are supposed to have done. Thank you, Chair.
Chair. Just want to hear if the municipalities are collecting revenue, and if
I think let's not go there because we don't have the audited reports. So, our discussion is limited to audited reports. They are not there. So we will go there when we have the audited report. What, Governor, you have done is fine. You have started the process, but without audited report, we will wait until you give us the financial statement to the auditor. They are audited before we do it. I will tell you, many of the counties which have come here, they have not done what you have started to do. But the difference with you and them is that they have financial statements. Even when they have not done much, they are complying with the law. But in your case, I think you decided, let me implement the municipality's requirement as per the law, and then financial statements can come later. So we are advising that even as you are doing this, submit the financial statements to the auditor. Because we cannot even discuss what is here, what you have provided here now, because our mandate is to discuss the audited reports. So that's why I'm telling Senator Kavindu that question. We wait until when you will come with the audited financial statement. So I think I would just, I want you to restrict to the issue of audited reports only.
Yeah, and I just want to make a clarification to the governor. Whatever you are telling us, the auditor would have gone through and they would be confirming whether what you are telling us is the position. So, Chair, I think on this one, I'll just pick 2 words from what the legal person has told us about this issue being serious and persistent. And on the basis of that, I think when the committee retreats to do the report writing, Chair, maybe it is at that time when we will decide what we are going to do to the officers concerned.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. I was asking that question, the first question, that because I wanted to understand the position where the county is. And Chair, now that we decided between the charge and the imprisonment, I think now that we have seen they have submitted a few processes or even some steps towards the establishment of the municipality, Chair, with your permission, I would request that now that they have declared here that they have financial reports for July, for the 2 quarters, I would request that you give direction and we request that those financial reports be submitted to the Auditor General within a very short time, and you just at the sitting you will be able to look at this financial report for these 2 quarters. Thank you, Chair.
You know they are late because audit is a process that has timelines. Like now we are here because we are complying with the timelines under Article 229. By 31st March, we should have examined the audited reports for all counties. So the financial statement that will be submitted are for 2025, 2026, which must be submitted by 30th of September. Is that the case, Auditor? 31st of August. So that is the one that is supposed to be submitted. The one for 2024, 2025 is overtaken by events because we are now at the level where we are looking at the audit report. So the financial statement you are saying will be for 2025, 2026. So I think the decision, as Senator Mbugua said, we'll leave it to the committee to decide what to do with the officers involved. If the committee decides to recommend imprisonment or decides to recommend a fine of 5 million or both, I think that's left to the committee. But the point is that, Governor, we would like you to also prioritize financial statement so that come next year, a period like today, and next year will be in the middle of, almost towards the period when we are going to renew our mandate. We do not want it to look unpleasant that time. So your officers should present the financial statements by 31st of August for 2025, 2026, even as you continue to implement the Act. So I think we can leave it there, honorable members. And wait for that period. But meanwhile, the committee will make a decision on this particular violation. So, honorable members, we will now proceed to look at the report on water companies. So the officers from municipality, you are free to leave to create space for your colleagues from water companies. So, Governor, you can help us to put on record the officers who have joined. Those who introduced themselves earlier.
Thank you, Chair. Let me ask the team that have just walked in to introduce themselves.
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Joseph Mwangi Wanjoy, Managing Director, Non-Rich Loitoktok Water and Sanitation Company.
It's okay. So now, sorry for that. Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Maurice Njagi. I'm the Deputy Director for Water Services for Kajiado County Government.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm Veronica Ndosho from OWASCO.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Peter Juma. I'm the Managing Director of Kajiado Water and Sewage Company.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Joseph Mapena from Multiration.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Regina Mutunga, Internal Auditor of Ololesa Water.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Anthony Muriuki, Finance Manager of Ololesa Water and Sewage Company.
Chair, I think the team is done. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. So, honorable members, we are going to look at the report for the 3 water companies: Noltrashe Loitoktok Water and Sanitation Company, Ole Kajiado Water and Sewerage Company Limited, and Ololaisa Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2025. Auditor, you need to guide us. We need to manage our time. So the matters in this report, some of them are cross-cutting in all the water companies. So we'd like you to give priority to the cross-cutting issues and also issues which are not addressed by the entities, and again issues which are of importance, so that we save on time. For example, the matter of non-revenue water is cross-cutting the 3 companies. Also the matter of going concern is also cross-cutting. So you can guide us as we go, so that we save on time. Proceed, Auditor.
Thank you, Chair, for the guidance. And while I was looking at the issues which are in this report, there are 5 issues which are cross-cutting in all the financial statements. The first one is on trade and other payables. Then the second one is on material uncertainty related to going concern. Then there is another issue of unauthorized borrowing from customers' deposits. Then the next one is on non-revenue water. And the last one is on trade and other receivables. So I don't know whether we are going to look at financial statements for each entity so that we read the paragraph, or we just say about the title
just pick a sample and then it applies to the others as well in our discussion.
This is the report of Noltrashe Loitoktok Water and Sanitation Company. And on matters related to trade and other payables. Let me read the paragraph. Long outstanding trade and other payables. The statement of financial position, and as disclosed in note 23, the financial statements reflect trade and other payables amounting to 333,745,751. However, included in the amount is Kenya shillings 29,629,050, Kenya shillings 331,200, and Kenya shillings 1,441,200 relating to Kenya Revenue Authority, PAYE, NSSF, and NHIF respectively, which had not been remitted. In addition, the payables were outstanding for a period longer than 3 years. In the circumstances, management risk avoidable costs on fines and penalties for the long outstanding trade and other payables.
Governor, your response?
Thank you, Chair. And I agree with you that the cross-cutting issues have almost similar responses. And responding to Norturesh Loitoktok Water Company, I wish first of all, Chair, to say I'm responding on behalf of 3 counties. This is a water company that serves Kajiado, Makueni, and Machakos. And you will see in the conversation as we progress, we'll keep referring to the other counties. The company has put in place a credit control unit to assist in collection of outstanding and current debt so as to be able to meet this obligation when they fall due. The company has, in consultation with the regulator and the 3 county governments, have agreed on concerted efforts that will see the success of implementation of universal metering policy, a regulatory requirement which will see the customers pay water as per consumption, therefore increase revenue. Additionally, the company has also entered into payment plans with the creditors so as to clear the outstanding arrears. We have attached the payment plans for reference as Appendix 5. Chair, the concerns, as you will notice across the way, is as a result of non-sufficient revenues, either for lack of water as the commodity, or sometimes lack of collection system, which is what we are calling metering here. And as a water company, we have put in place mechanism to address that. So I submit our response that the credit control, the metering, the support of the regulator will all support the county, the companies to be able to meet its obligations. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you know the dates that have been put in that query are all statutory payments. They are all statutory payments, and it relates to another query there in the same report, which talks about non-remittance of statutory deductions. And you know the implication of not submitting statutory deductions, that is NSSF, pay as you earn, and NHIF. Then now we have SHA. It is against the law. Failure to deduct statutory deduction is against the law. So again, this is an issue of compliance, because these people are earning a salary, they are being deducted pay as you earn, and is not being remitted to KRA. They are also being deducted NSSF, it's not being remitted. NHIF, which is share, there is not being remitted. So even as you seek to improve the performance of this company so that you can pay the payables, there is a bigger issue of compliance in terms of complying to statutory deduction requirements. So how do you now address this?
Thank you, Chair. we have demonstrated the efforts we are making to improve the available resources for meeting our obligations. Though we did not indicate here, we have also restructured the company, and actually the MD is a new officer. We have a new board in place, a new MD, a closer collaboration with the regulator. We really feel that the company is in the right trajectory. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, so maybe before I allow the members to come in, Governor, looking at that query and another query on remittance of staff deduction, and the amount here is 29 million. Have these staff been paid their salaries? What is there any arrears or staff salaries? Because if the statutory deduction can get to 29 million, then either the staff are not being paid salaries, or they are being paid net salaries without the statutory deduction. So what is the salary situation in this company?
I know, as I prepare to give to the CC to also input, I know at some point we had very long unpaid salaries. But I want to confirm to you, Chair, that the new team has made tremendous progress to reduce those unpaid salaries. So I think I'll just ask the CC to input more. But now, as we report evidence to show that we are paying salaries, we are starting to paying these statutory obligations. So we are in the right direction, but I want the CC
paying salaries, but we're also trying to finish the areas that have been pending, as we also pay the statutories that are pending as well. Thank you.
Honorable members, Senator Mbugua.
Maybe before Mbogwa comes in, let me do a small clarification on the issue of salaries, Governor. I know it will be a very difficult situation to this county, one county, to answer these questions of this Onolturesh, because it's a company that is sharing 3 counties, that is Kajiado, Machakos, and Makueni. Chair, I did requested for us to exhaust this matter of arrears and pending bills for this company. And we did even a statement, I don't know if it is in your committee or it is in Labour Committee, to exhaust the issue of salaries, because there are quite a number of pending bills on salaries and statutories. Chair, Governor, I would really want to know what about those staff who have been terminated, who have been laid off during your restructuring of this company? Is that bill, those allowances that are due for them to be paid within the 29, or it is something that is need to be discussed? Because the reason why, Chair, I did requested for this county, the 3 counties, to appear before this committee is for us to exhaust this matter, because it is even more than this 29. I think the Auditor General has just found 29. But there are a number of other staff who have been retirees, who have been retired by this company, and even they have a court order to bring them back, or even to pay them back by this company. And it is only county governments, the 3 county governments, that can have that answer to that question. And it is good that this committee can also look at it carefully, because it is not within just Kajiado County to respond on this one. Back to the chair, if you allow, Chair.
Maybe, Chair, to take it up from where Senator Seki has left. Your neighbors, the county government of Makueni, was here, I think, this week, and the same issue came up, and they requested this committee to organize a meeting between those counties, and in their own opinion, they are not willing to pay because Kajiado County government has denied them water. So they were asking us how they can pay, yet you are not giving them the water. So I think that is a bigger issue, Chair, which I think can be addressed later. But Governor, I think these are deductions which are there. Your people should provide an aging analysis so that this committee can know they go up to what time, and then they demonstrate that when they start paying with the area ones, so that the committee can monitor the progress. Thank you.
Governor, before you come in, we don't really need to belabor the points on this particular company. You have appeared before us, I think this must be the 3rd or 4th time on this matter, and we directed that you need to reach out to your colleagues so that you find ways of sorting out this problem of 3 counties. We had a similar problem between Trans Nzoia and Bungoma, and they made a decision to split the companies so that they have a better way of managing it. We had the same problem with Kisi and Nyamira, and they went the same route. Because if I look at this report, it is having gaps that show that probably that could be one of the challenge why this company is not doing well. For example, non-revenue water is 80%. 80% non-revenue water, meaning that probably your employees in this company are not able to bill those people in those other counties. I would imagine. I would imagine that could be the problem. Or water in those other counties are being taken without paying. So, and when I look at the revenue position of the company is not doing well at all, because they made a loss of 21 million this financial year. The previous one they made 18 million loss, so the losses are going up. So I think even before we have 3 of you coming, you need to agree among yourselves that the companies can be split the way the other counties have done. So there is something good in having an infrastructure that covers many counties, but practically it may not be easy to manage such a company. So that's why Wasireb would recommend a split. So maybe you can tell us in your own ways, without the involvement of this committee, have you canvassed this matter with your colleagues? So that we can have a way out of it.
Thank you, Chair. And we completely, the proposals you are giving are definitely out of good experience. And Kajiado, Makueni, and Machakos are not an exception to that arrangement. And it's a conversation that we have had to see a possibility of selling water to our neighbors in form of bulk, bulk metering. So the issue of them saying that they will not pay, we will actually do the disconnection, but they have not told us. They probably told Senator Bugwa, is it Bugwa? Yeah, we hear you. So the last time we were here, Chair, you actually directed or guided that a lot of restructuring is required for this company. And that's actually what we have done with the new management, new board, many of other things. But we also appreciate that we have an infrastructure that dates back close to 50 years now, meaning there is need for huge investment on that front. So it is a conversation that I think is doable and necessary. So that rather than having so much non-revenue water, we just have 1 meter for Makueni. And then water that crosses from Makueni to Machakos, Makueni can also now bill Machakos as bulk supplies. But I want to request the CC for Finance, who actually until just the other day was the CC for Water, to respond to the questions raised by Senator Seki on what are we doing as a result of the restructuring. But your recommendations are sound and are doable. Thank you.
And as you respond to the senators, we said we are handling the 3 companies concurrently. You must also talk about the payables in the other companies. For example, the problem we are having in this company is similar to the problem at Kajiado, where the payables are 91 million, and they are attributed to non-payment of statutory deductions. So you see...
absolutely, Chair. I will come to it to talk together about Kajiado and Ololaiza, which are wholly owned by Kajiado County government, just to demonstrate the progress we are making. Thank you.
Yeah, so respond to that.
Yes, Chair. Thank you, Chair, and His Excellency, and Honorable Senators. The Honorable Senator of Kajiado asked about, was saying that the amount is more than 29 million, and I agree it's more than 29 million. Actually, the staff we were relieved long time ago, was we have from the governor that the company dates back to around 50 years ago, and the dilapidation of the pipeline has actually attributed to the 80%, mostly the 80% of the non-revenue water. But when the staff went to court around 15 years ago, the labor court awarded them some compensation, adding to around 155 million, which actually the 3 counties could not raise at that moment. So that's a huge debt, which is still supposed to be addressed as per the request by the Honorable Senator from the company in alteration. Most of the running up and down of that company is being run by Kajiado County, because when we had several bursts along the line, the water could not reach Machakos. So around in 2021 there, we did a joint feasibility study with ADI to try and see how to put and to install a fresh line from the Tok to see how we can reduce the losses which were on the line, because repairing of that line was proving to be difficult. The originator of the original line had not factored in the increase in population along the line, and that's why they only factored the few cattle cattle watering points and not wananchi. It's like that when the population exploded around 15-20 years ago, the pipeline was constrained and people downstream could not actually get the water. So all these problems compounded to the losses which the company made, make it unable to meet their statutory obligation. Thank you.
Yeah, Chair. There is actually a conversation and an attempt to do another pipeline from almost the current source at a place called Kimana all the way to Konsa City. This is actually the line that is supposed to supply Konsa City with water, and we pray that the Thuake Dam completion happens to be able to sustain that city. The current plan by national government to do another pipeline, because it's a huge investment, it may require external funding, African Development Bank and others, may actually ultimately be the solution to this problem. Moving to Ololaiza and Kajiado Water Company and the concerns for remittance of statutory deductions, I want to confirm, as you'll see in records, that first of all, the problem Ololaiza has in a big way been sorted out. Kenya Power bills that were resulting in disconnections are all sorted out. A number of other obligations, including unpaid staff salaries, have been sorted out. We are now moving to solarize the pumping system so that we remove of the electricity bills emanating from Kenya Power, which is a very big headache. So we are also now receiving water from Nairobi, both for Ololaiza and Kajiado. As you are aware, Chair and Committee, the commodity here for sale is water. And because of persistent drought, drying boreholes, it is clear that the sources we are relying in Kajiado are no longer sustainable. We are grateful that with the support of Earthy Water, national government, Ministry of Water, we now have reliable water supply coming to these two companies. But we have a problem of reticulation because the reticulation system are old and dilapidated. However, Ongata Rongai, part of Ngai Murunya, have got a better or a new reticulation system. So I want to report to this committee that because of this additional water supply, there is now a commodity that will be able to generate resources to pay for these obligations. So, Chair, I submit that the two companies are now in the good trajectory, because the last time we were in this committee, we told you because of the drought, Kiserian Dam has dried, the borehole supplying Kajiado water had dried up, and therefore we had a very difficult situation with regards to water. The story now is different. We are now dealing with reticulation. We are dealing with using cheaper energy, solar energy, rather than Kenya Power. We have new teams, both managements and leadership and boards. So all the companies are now moving in the right direction. And we have given in the appendices to show that these bills are actually being paid. I submit, Chair.
So I think generally, Governor, before we move to the next issue, your three companies are doing very badly on payables. As we speak now, your measures are okay, but the payables are still very high. If you look, for example, Elasa, it has 304 million, which is actually 85% of the payables have been outstanding for a long time. So I think when your payables are very high and your trade debtors are also very high, then that says something about the companies. So, Auditor, can we proceed to the next query?
Okay, thank you. The next issue is on material uncertainty related to going concern, and I will Olorisa so that we can deliberate on it. And it reads, of Kenya shillings 150,568,404, resulting in a negative working capital of Kenya shillings 258,723,427. In addition, trade and other payables increased by Kenya shillings 22,106,534 from Kenya shillings 335,430,098 in the previous year to Kenya shillings 357,536,632, an indication of the company's inability to settle its obligation as and when they fall due. In the circumstances, the ability of their company to continue to sustain its services is dependent on continued support from the county government and other stakeholders.
Governor, your response?
Management notes the observation regarding the negative working capital. The increase in current liabilities over previous years primarily reflects inability to sell its liabilities and as and when they fall due. This was primarily due to the various factors such as use of tariff structure, which was not fully cost recovery, prolonged drought over the period, dilapidated infrastructure, inadequate water resource, and high cost of operation, mainly due to reliance on electricity for water pumping. However, the company is progressively addressing the above issues, which will help in improving its financial sustainability. The cost recovery tariff was reviewed and approved in 2024 and implemented from November the same year. The company is also renewing its infrastructure in Ongata Rongai and Kiserian, as well as getting additional water from the northern collector and sinking of new boreholes. To cut on cost of production, the company, through the county government of Kajiado and other stakeholders, is in the process of solarizing its boreholes. The progressive improvement in its finances is evident from the financial statement for the year 2024-2025, where the company reported a net operating surplus of 4,187,963 compared to a net operating deficit of 57,698,535 in the year 2023-2024. Further, during the first half of the current financial year, revenue collection and billing have continued to improve, supporting the company's ability to sustain operations and meet critical obligations. We have attached in the appendix the Gazette notice of a new tariff that we think is sustainable. Also, Appendix 7 is the correspondence on the solarization, the first half performance, And and I have an abbreviation here I'm struggling to catch up with. Oh, Nairobi Satellite Towns Water and Sanitation, the latest status report. So, Chair, you can see from the operation we now have a surplus as opposed to a huge deficit before. And I want to emphasize the question of the tariff. Previously, the tariff we were charging was unsustainable and unable to cover the cost, and that has been corrected. We want also to confirm that we have now additional water coming from the northern tunnel. This is the water I was talking about, water coming from Nairobi. So we are very certain that actually this is among the companies will be the first one to get out of the wood. So, Chair, just to cover the others as you are carrying this meeting, Kajiado Water has also now started to receive water from Nairobi through Kitengela. And actually, in a few days, we will be commissioning a reticulation system that now enables Nairobi water to get into many of the properties in Kitengela. And we have solarized a number of our boreholes so that we are not using diesel-powered engines to generate water or to pump water. So all these are putting our water companies in the right trajectory. I submit, Chair.
Governor, you know this query, what this query in ordinary language means, in accounting terms, is material uncertainty related to going concern. In ordinary language, it means the company, these three companies are actually in ICU. They are actually in ICU because if you have like Olelasa, no, this Nolturesh, which has a working capital of 244 million and making a loss of 21 million in the current audited financial year. This one Olelasa is actually working capital of 258 million. And this other one, it is doing working capital, negative working capital of 82 million. And the non-revenue waters are very, very high. It basically means these companies are actually in ICU. So I am just wondering how are you sustaining this company? Are you giving them money, and how much money are you giving them? Because you cannot run a company with this high working capital and even operate for another 1 month. It will not be possible. So how are you running this company? How are they being run with this report? Honorable members, if you have a question, you can ask so that the governor can answer them together.
Maybe mine was just to pick it up from where you have left, Chair. And I've heard the measures the governor and the county government of Kajiado are implementing. But if they were to just take the non-revenue water as the low-hanging fruit and sort out that one, I think your position will greatly improve. Because it basically means whatever money the county government is putting in is just getting lost. And I heard when we were discussing earlier, one of the companies, one of the CEOs admitting that there was a time the staff were not being paid for a very long period. And that in itself explains why the non-revenue water is high. Because if I'm working for you and I have a commodity which can be sold and you are not paying me, I will sell it to survive.
So you can respond to those issues, Governor.
Thank you, Chair. The big question about the sustainability of these water companies. At some point, it was clear that these water companies were unsustainable without additional water sources. This is what I have reported, that we now have additional water coming from Nairobi for both Ololaiza and Kajiado. And really that is really the sustaining line, because the commodity is water. As long as there is no water, then there is no commodity to sell. Of course, water being such a basic need, once it is there, people need it, people consume, and people pay as per law. So I don't think we have now any doubt about the sustainability of these companies. Of course, I've indicated, Chair, that for Nolturesh, a new pipeline will be the saving grace, because a 50-year-old plus pipeline is too dilapidated for us to be able to remove the element of non-revenue water. The non-revenue water in that particular company is because of water, the dilapidation in the pipeline. I agree with Senator Mbogo about non-revenue water being a very big issue, and this is why we are doing new reticulation system. We are introducing smart meters. We now are leveraging on technology to make sure that we know where this water is getting lost. So I want to confirm, Chair, that the sustainability for these companies is solid and of course inevitable, because not having a water company or not providing water is an obligation the government cannot run away from. And the question about non-revenue water is being addressed using, that metering, smart meters, technology, modern ways of pumping water. And so we are sure that we're in the right direction, Chair. I submit.
Yes, Senator Mbugu.
Governor, please make me understand, because I think it can get worse. I believe the water you are getting from Nairobi is not free. Are you getting it for free? So if you get water from Nairobi, maybe you are supposed to pay, and of course you put a markup. But if the water which is coming, half of it is lost, don't you think the situation will be worse? Because you'll be paying 100% of what you have received, but you are selling maybe 50% of it.
Yeah, so
let me ask Waziri to help.
Or maybe you can also give the manager of Lolaisa to explain on that, because I think much of the problems here, Governor, is about even recovering of the debts from your clients. So I think that is a major problem that we have, and if we can do that, at least we'll save more problems that the company has.
That's not a major problem. That is just one of it.
One of the major problems.
Receivables.
Yes,
but,
receivables.
Yes. The debts are there, yes.
Yes.
But the large portion of the water is not accounted for. So, you see, like when you say 80% of the water is not accounted for, then there is a problem, Governor, because if it is lost through physical losses, there would be rivers in Kajiado, because that's a large amount of water. So there must be other ways where this water is being lost. Could be at the billing, maybe people are selling water and then making it look like non-revenue water, or they are not billing some people and pocketing the money. So there is a serious issue that it needs to be investigated, and that's where maybe revenues are being lost, because 80% of water, auditor, that is how many cubic meters of water, according to your report. You will create several rivers in Kajiado with that amount of water. if it is lost, Governor. I think your officers should tell us more about this.
Thank you. Let me ask Waziri Semena and then Gladys to be ready to follow the MD.
Chair, the 80% non-revenue water from Molturesh is actually as a result of the burst of the 21-inch pipe. That was what was giving us the problem. So by the time you repair that pipe, it has actually created a river, as you said. But for the Nairobi water...
Is that river there?
No, actually it is some ponds at that time, Chair. But on the Nairobi water is in such a way that it came through a new project. So there is almost zero non-revenue water on the Nairobi. As per the world standard, but on the Noltulesh, that's what we are now addressing on the huge pipeline, which was actually bursting as a result of the old age. A 50 years pipeline is attributed, can actually lead to such kind of losses. But as we said, the county government, through the governor, has actually made serious repairs on that pipeline on our own budgets, and at the moment, you will not be able to see that 80% NRW.
Gladys.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I will respond on the issue of non-revenue water for Ololaisa water. And as a company, we have actually made huge strides in addressing the issue of non-revenue water. And the project that His Excellency referred to is a project that began almost 4 to 5 years ago and is meant to address the issue of reticulation in Rongai. And that project is almost 96 to 98% done. So we hope that in the next financial year when we meet here, we will be seeing a different picture of the non-revenue. What that project has done is to renew the reticulation system of Rongai and also Kiserian town. The only town that is now left is Ngong town in our coverage area that still has a very old reticulation system. So on that front of renewing the pipeline, we hope that will go a long way in reducing the non-revenue. I agree with you, Chair, that the losses are not necessarily physical, otherwise we would be seeing water running through the streets of Rongai. They are mostly commercial losses, and we have addressed that to a large extent by getting a new billing system, which we have appendix there. So the billing system has corrected a lot of the errors that were in the company in terms of billing errors and not knowing who exactly you're billing and whether you're doing it correctly. So we are now seeing that our customers are actually able to get actual bills, and estimates have gone down. The other thing we have done with the support of the county, as stated there, is the issue of solarization. We had, at the beginning of the financial year under review, we had a huge Kenya Power bill of 19 million, which we have cleared, and now we are paying our Kenya Power bills when they fall due, which I think is progress. So on the issue of payables, as a company, we are making progress, and if you look at Appendix 8, you are able to see the performance of the company. We've just attached a half-year performance, 2024-2025 comparatively. There is a huge improvement in the revenues of the company because of the measures that we have put in place. So we anticipate that in the next in the next year, when we are audited, we will see a huge improvement in our revenues, which will help us to pay the debts that we owe. We actually owe suppliers, we owe staff, we owe statutory, but we have also said here that we are actually now paying a lot of those debts every month. We are paying, after we've cleared Kenya Power, now we are paying KRA, we are paying pension for the staff that was not being paid, and now this year, when we began this year, we are now beginning to pay staff salary arrears. So we hope that with the measures we have put in place, as we pay our current obligations, we are also able to pay the debts that we owe and therefore reduce the burden of debt on the company. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, let's hear a little about the non-revenue water for Kajiado, and I ask Juma to give his voice. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. On non-revenue, I've instituted a NR unit. But now the NR, like for Kitengela, because that's the main issue, the main problem in Kitengela would have been the NRW, because we used to have EPZ supplying water. Now the new pipeline, which is now under construction, it is addressing issue of non-revenue, and we are not even connecting the pipeline to the existing.
Before you proceed,
yes,
the report seems to suggest that you don't even have non-revenue figures.
Yes, that's why I constituted the non-revenue recently.
No, what you have constituted is a unit.
Yeah, it's a unit.
But where are the figures for non-revenue water?
Okay, currently we didn't have any because there was no unit. In fact, I constituted in July. There are no figures.
You don't need to have a unit to know non-revenue water.
In fact, this is a company, Chair, if I may come in, that actually had no water. This is a company that had no water, and therefore they are like coming anew because of the new water coming from Nairobi. And therefore, the Senator will confirm that at some point this company had no water, so there was even no water to lose in the first place. But now we have water. We have a pipeline that's 95, 98% complete. However, we know whenever there is water, there will always be an element of non-revenue water, either through staff actions or through infrastructure or other means. So it is important for us to explain, or for him to indicate that in anticipation, we have a system in place. Thank you, Chair.
And again, the issue of going concern is an issue that I had asked you earlier to tell me how much money is the county government pumping into these companies to sustain them. Are you pumping any money into them, and how much?
The bulk of the support to these companies are actually sometimes through debts by partners, or some support by county by, say, drilling a borehole and equipping and giving them to run water, and the same happens with that. So hardly do we give them money directly. The money will be in the form of solarization, automation. In a few instances, we have had to pay Kenya Power, but that will be, rare and far apart. You will find in one circumstance we have paid 2 million or 4 million, but we strive very much to make sure that the water companies are able to be self-sustaining. So they are not a drain on the county itself, but because sometimes they are unable to meet their obligation of giving citizens water, we come in to see how to aid them. Thank you.
Yes, because if those measures that you have indicated, I hope they are going to work and work very fast. If not, I am seeing a patient who is in ICU who can die anytime. All of them, the three companies. Auditor, proceed to the next query. You can leave out non-revenue water because we have had discussions around there.
Thank you, Chair. The next issue is on unauthorized borrowing from customers, the deposits. And I will use the Kajiado case to put it across. And it reads, unauthorized borrowing from customers' deposits. As previously reported, the statement of financial position reflects customers' deposits and the other prepayments balance of Kenya shilling 6,712,711 as disclosed in Note 25 to the financial statements. Review of customers' deposit bank account statement revealed a balance of Kenya shillings 8,105, an indication that Kenya shillings 6,704,606 may have been utilized for other companies' operations. Further, board approval for the amount borrowed was not provided for audit review. This is contrary to section 149(1)(a) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which states that an accounting officer is accountable to the county assembly for ensuring that the resources of the entity for which the officer is designated are used in a way that is lawful and authorized. In the circumstances, management was in breach of the law.
Governor, your response?
Chair, the company's financial policy allows the management to borrow from the customer deposits with the approval of the board of directors. During the year under review, the company had borrowed funds from the customer deposits for payment of salaries, statutory deductions, and suppliers. The management will refund the borrowed amount to ensure customer deposits are maintained as per law. We have attached a copy of the approval minutes for perusal and verification. I think the issue here, Chair, is that at the time of the audit, the management did not provide the approval by the board for use of customer deposits. We have since, through Appendix 9, provided for that approval. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor, your comments. I think there are two companies which are of that query, Ole Lasa and Ole Kajiado. Your comments on that response.
Chair, or is it not ready?
Pardon? Proceed.
Chair, what I wanted to say that is that the management is borrowing from the customers' deposits, and I've seen from whatever evidence has been provided, they go to the board and they request to utilize those funds. I don't know whether it was this case of where there was even no amount which was approved. They said you can spend, but there was no selling that maybe go and spend 100,000 from that account. They said you can utilize the funds. But then now the question comes, when you deplete this account and some customers will come, maybe they want to exit and you don't have any money, then it becomes a challenge. Because even if you borrow, but then subsequently you start replenishing that account. Thank you very much.
This one is another sign that the companies are not doing well. Because if you look at Ole Lasa, Ole Kajiado borrowed 6 million from customer deposit. And Ole Lasa borrowed 21 million, which has not been settled as at November 2025. So that is another demonstration that now the customers' deposits are now being raided to run the company when they are supposed to be safeguarded, because the customers can request their money back. And the law is very clear, Governor, that this money should be borrowed. Internal borrowing is allowed so long as there is a board approval and the money is refunded back within 1 year. If it goes beyond 1 year, then that becomes a problem. So, honorable members, you can chip in. Senator Mbugua.
I think, Chair, the company and maybe the county need to be well advised on this borrowing, because they say they have their own finance policy which allows them to borrow, but I think they need to be guided well by our legal person here on the way this borrowing, the steps it should follow, not them sitting down and coming up with their own policy which is against the national rule.
Yeah, the policy does not override the national.
Maybe again on the same, I don't know, before the legal counsel comes in, I would request through the governor, if the managers can give us a plan on the payment of this borrowing, because you see now, as it is very clear, so that at least we comply with what the Auditor General, or what the auditor is talking about, because it seems like the board has not capped the borrowings. It's just a blanket that they just borrow. Otherwise, they have not indicated the amount that is supposed to be borrowed. Thank you.
Any other before the governor responds? Senator Tobiko, put yourself on record.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Paris Tobiko from Kajiado County. This is my home county. Chair, you know, I was with Kericho. That's why I was not here. But I decided to come and see what you're doing to our people. Meanwhile, on this issue of customer deposits, they didn't find the senator for Machakos here. And you know, she's very passionate about this issue.
The senator for Machakos has run out of energy. You know, she has been here since 9 in the morning. Yeah. So, Governor, you can respond to the senators.
Thank you very much, and nice to see my Senator Paris. Allow me, Chair, to ask the managers to explain on the issue of customer deposit repayment, and I will start with the Ololesa Water, then go to Kajiado. Welcome, Gladys.
Thank you, Your Excellency. So on the issue of customer deposits borrowing, it is not the norm. It is actually the exception rather than the norm. And this borrowing happened a while back. So for Ololesa, it is cumulative borrowing. At a time when the company was going through a very challenging time, they were not able to pay salaries, they were not able to pay power, and most of this money was actually borrowed or taken through the approval of the board to pay Kenya Power, as records will show. So our plan really is, first of all, to stop the borrowing. And the measures we have put in place for the company, as evidenced by the performance, will clearly indicate that the company will not go back to that situation where we need to borrow for salaries or borrow to pay power. Currently, we are able to meet our monthly obligations of salaries and power and all the other monthly obligations, so we do not anticipate to go back to the board to borrow customer deposits. What we want to do now is to put in place a plan to actually refund that account, the money that was borrowed, for a period of around 4 or 5 or 6 years. So the obligations we are paying now are statutory, and then we go to staff arrears, and then we go to these other debts, including the one that we owe to the customer deposit. So, Chair, we have stopped the borrowing, and now our plan is to make sure that we begin, even if by depositing amounts to the customer deposit account, so that the customers have the money when and if they need it. And also to say, Chair, that the account actually does have money. We have not depleted the account, and we will make sure that it will be now increasing rather than decreasing the customer deposits. Thank you, Chair.
The money it has, your account has money, yes. But the money it has is only 784,000.
Yes.
Is that for the customer deposit?
That is what is available after they swept off 21. After they swept up 21 million.
No, the 21 million, Chair, just to clarify, was not taken in one instance. It was a bill here, so cumulatively it went to 21. And it was a time when the company was in a very, very difficult situation. So it was easier, I'm not saying it was the right thing, but it was easier to take through the approval of the board that money rather than borrowing commercially, which would have costed much more to the company. So we will not take the money going forward. We will have a plan to make sure that we repay the deposits that were taken. Thank you.
Kajiado, Juma.
Thank you, your Chair and Excellency. Okay, this, as stated by my colleague, even mine was borrowed cumulatively. I have not borrowed since, but I've come up with a plan with my finance officer that will be refunding quarterly. I have not borrowed since that time.
I think, Chair, the whole point is we had indicated earlier on where the companies were coming from. And a situation where the commodity water itself was not available. And that resulted in very difficult situation because as long as there is no that commodity to sell, then you have no revenues to meet the various obligations. But we have demonstrated, Chair, that now with the resource being available, Honorable Tobiko, we now have water coming from Nairobi to Kitengela and from Nairobi to Rongai Ngong. So that is very helpful. And now there is good cash flow, there is indication from evidence that these obligations are being met. And so we take the guidance of the committee that the customer deposit borrowed must be refunded, and it will be refunded. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, next query. I think that should be the last one.
Thank you, Chair. The next query is on trade and other receivables. And I will read a case of Ololaisa. It reads long outstanding trade and other debtors. The statement of financial position and as disclosed in Note 18 to the financial statement reflect trade and other debtors balance of Kenya shillings 147,906,249, which is net of provision for doubtful debts of Kenya shillings 25,896,975. Review of the gross trade receivables of Kenya shillings 172,646,500 revealed that receivables amounting to Kenya shillings 135,253,644 have been outstanding for more than 120 days, casting doubt on their recoverability and adequacy of provisions. Management did not provide measures put in place to recover the debts. In the circumstances, the accuracy and recoverability of the trade and the other debtors balance of Kenya shillings 135,253,644 could not be confirmed.
I wish to respond, Chair, that the increase in the long outstanding trade receivables were primarily due to the harsh economic effects during the COVID-19 period, during which the government of Kenya issued public health directives discouraging the disconnection of essential services, including water supply, to support households and businesses. As a result, the company was unable to enforce disconnections for non-payment, leading to delays in debt settlement and an accumulation of outstanding receivables. These measures were aligned with the government interventions under ongoing water sector reforms. As documented in the Ministry of Water Budget Implementation Review 2021, issue number 4, the related COVID-19 response circulars. To strengthen revenue collection and reduce aged debts, the companies acquired a billing system which incorporates advanced technological features for improved billing accuracy, monitoring, and revenue assurance. The system enables real-time water meter reading and reporting by staff, including photographic evidence, thereby minimizing errors and misreporting. Customers now receive bills immediately after meter readings, facilitating timely payment planning. Further, the company issues payment reminders through bulk SMS and engages customers in structured partial payment arrangements to clear outstanding balances. An approval of debt management policy is in place. An approved debt management policy is also in place to guide effective monitoring, collection, and recovery of receivables. Appendices 1, Budget Implementation Review 2021, issue number 4, 2, related COVID-19 circulars, and 3, debt management policy and samples of bulk SMSs, statements of customers disconnected and charged reconnection fees, showing amounts paid, contract for purchase of Magibyte new billing system. So, Chair, we wish to confirm that through these measures, as I have explained, the bulk originated from the COVID-19, and we all are aware of that. But we can now show or see that there is evidence that some efforts is being made and some payments are being received because of the concerted efforts. Thank you, Chair.
Auditor, your comments?
Thank you, Chair. What I could say is that management has listed quite a number of measures which they are taking to address the issue of recovering the debts. But when you go now to the actual, they are long outstanding which have been recovered, because you have put in measures, but what have you recovered? If you had like this 135 million, out of that up to date, how much have you recovered?
But you know your customers. Who are these people? Have you written to them? Where are those letters? You know, that is what this committee wants to know. But if you tell us what you want to do, but what have you done so far for Olelasa and the other companies?
And maybe related to that, Chair, I believe during that hard times of COVID, there were maybe businesses which recovered. Maybe there are some government institutions which owed, and maybe the management should be giving us an analysis of these debts. Are there government institutions, Bwana Auditor, which still owe the water company some money? Are there government institutions which owe the water company some money?
I think they are.
Governor, that question.
Yeah.
Out of this money that is owed, which are these institutions which owe this company money?
Let me ask the manager, Gladys, to respond on whether from this debt any has been recovered for Loliza and Wanjohi for Nolturesh. Gladys.
Thank you, His Excellency. Our debt collection efforts are continuous, and customers get debts every day, because even as we bill every month, there are customers who will pay and others who will not pay. And our demonstration of the efforts we have put in place to collect the debt is the system that we acquired. Previously, the company was not able to really be able to say this is the amount that is out there, because everything was done manually, and there was a lot of error in terms of the amounts owed and the amounts that the companies also owed. So the system has really helped us to actualize the amount that we can say people owe us, and also the amount that we owe the people. So our efforts to collect the debt are demonstrated with the system that sent, because we send bulk SMSs to the people that owe us. After a certain period, we tell them that failure to pay, we will disconnect, and we actually do go ahead and disconnect the customers. And you're only reconnected after you have paid the debt. So every month we have a meter reading period, we then have a revenue collection period, and then we go into disconnection and then debt collection. Customers have also done part payment arrangements with us, which are on record, and we can produce, showing the amounts that they can pay in installments. So, of course, we do have government institutions that pay us. Some are proving a challenge to recover from, but others have made good effort, and we are in good relations for them to pay partially in installments what they can pay every month. So as a company, we go and collect, because we know every month when we give water, we will end up with debts eventually. Thank you, Chair.
You know, Madam, I'm looking at your responses.
Yes.
And I really have to appreciate the well organized, but the information which we are struggling to get as a Senate committee is what is given to us in writing. For example, now that you have a working billing system, it means you now have an authentic list of people who owe you money.
Yes, we do.
True or false?
Yes.
Now, if you have that list, you should have attached that list.
Okay.
And tell us that these are people who owe us money, and to recover this money, you are saying some people you have sent them SMSs.
Yes, sir.
But there are those you may not need to send SMSs. You may need to write demand letters. For
Yes.
example, the corporates, the institutions, you write demand letters.
The mechanism on how to reduce these debts. Otherwise, you can even go ahead and even do the reconciliation with these institutions to confirm their debts, so that you are able to report. And as much as you give the good report, and by talking here or even explaining, it is always important that you give evidence. If you've done as the chair has said, you've done communication to these institutions, to individuals, we need to have the attachment, because we may not be able to listen to you and even agree to what you're saying. So it is important that you give evidence on what exactly you're talking about, so that at least we're able to understand and put it as an appendix. Otherwise, that is what we will confirm what you're saying.
Yeah.
Chair, we are guided, and I am sure the companies are able to prepare such reports and even show clients who have paid and people who out of these efforts have been disconnected to show reconnection. But let me hear a bit of it from the Nolture side. What are they doing about their debtors? Wanjohi?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. For non-rich, we've come up with a credit control unit, and we are in the process of listing all the creditors, the debts, so that we can categorize them with a view to collecting the collectibles, and also recommend the necessary measures for those which are uncollectible to the board of directors, through the board of directors, to the National Treasury. Those are the measures we've taken. So.
You know those things that you are saying, manager, through the governor, you have not attached them on your report.
Sorry for that, Chair, Honorable Chair. That may have been an oversight, but we have the measures in place.
You know, when you come before the Senate committee, don't assume that these are politicians, they will not have time to look at. We are the people who read every detail. we will read through and tell you this is missing. So make sure when you come before us, you are fully prepared with all the answers and you attach them here.
Very well noted.
Because your response is very inadequate on that query.
That is noted, Chair.
But Governor, maybe going back to my earlier question, is that we need to know the institutional organization that owe this company money. For example, the public institutions, hospitals, schools, and such, and why they are not paying. I'm particularly interested in hospitals. Which hospitals are served by these water companies?
Okay, Chair, we have taken out a number of hospitals naturally draw water from the service providers. A few will have their own boreholes to support their efforts, but if that list is needed, it's easily extractable.
Yeah, why I'm saying that, because hospitals have FIF, they can pay you money. We have seen that in other counties. The hospitals are paying in time because of FIF.
But at times, maybe they may assume not to pay because they're in the same bracket of the same county. So I don't know if they have a plan to pay back to the companies as a county government. I don't know, Chair.
It depends who is serving them. If it is Nol Turesh which is serving them, they will need to pay the person who has built them. So, Audit, unless you have an additional thing to say?
Yes, Chair. On that issue of trade and other receivables, there is one case in Kajiado whereby we have unsurrendered interest from staff amounting to 1 million, which had been outstanding for more than 1 year. And even the people who are given those interests are not listed, though we don't know who was given the interest and why they are not being surrendered. So the only communication is that there was a letter which was written to the board to take action. So I was wondering if it is the management who gave officers interest, why can they recover from them? Does it need to
That is under
go to the board?
Kajiado.
Yes. So maybe they can...
Governor, you can help us on that.
Let me ask the manager to tell us what is happening. Juma.
Thank you, Chair. The interest was taken between 2008 and 2010. So the company was not able to trace the interest holders. Because now that time, I think some of them either went on retire or they died. Because we have been tracing, we don't see we didn't see the files. Yes.
But Chair, I think Juma,
yes.
by that time you were still a staff.
No, I was not there as a staff.
No. You were there, I know you.
No,
so you need to tell us who are these people, who are these impress holders. You cannot escape this, otherwise, Chair. If then Juma should really tell this committee who are these impress holders, and if so, he should even be the one to pay that impress if he doesn't explain to this committee.
All Juma has done is to write a letter to the board saying that recoverability is zero. That is all Juma has done. But there must be people who received this money. Through 2008 to 2010, you mean you don't have files or the files disappeared?
And there's an incident when the offices were banned. I think the files were at that time a part of those.
I think that
the files cannot be traced actually.
Anyway, Chair, I think I really understand this situation. That is true. If it is true, it is within 2008 and 2010, before before the devolution. Is something that can be discussed, because the auditor, I think the company was a parastatal by that time. That is what I really understand about that. But Juma was still within the system, so you will not escape this. But it's something that can be discussed, Chair, about this.
So I think, honorable members, we are now come to the end of the examination. But what is coming out very clearly, Governor, is that our earlier fears, when we started this conversation on these companies, that was in 2023. Our earlier fears were that these companies are insolvent, these companies are having challenges, and we devised that a restructuring needs to be done to bring them to life. It looks like a lot needs to be done. A lot needs to be done. It looks like most of the operations of this company are not being taken very seriously as they should be taken. And the gracious lady seated next to you, the Waziri wa Maji. You are the CS for water.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, you know you need to take charge, because the PFM under section 184 gives the responsibility to the CEC in charge of that sector to continuously monitor the financial performance of the entities under you and report to the county executive, to the cabinet. I think that is something we said earlier, and we still continue to say that the CEC for that water, you have a responsibility in law to continually monitor the performance of these entities under you, so that these things are reported to the cabinet and action is taken. Because it looks like every query we have gone through, we are just being promised this will be done, this will be done. But now it is now 3 years later, we are back to the same thing. So Waziri, this committee will take you responsible if we come back in 2025, 2026, and we find that the situation is still the same. We will come for you, if you will still be Waziri.
Well noted, Chair.
Yeah. So I think, Governor, also please take charge of this process, because Kajiado is such an important county to this country, because of its proximity to Nairobi City, that water is a necessity for the people of Kajiado. So we are very much concerned about this, and I think from when we conclude this process we are doing by 31st of March, we will make a visit to Kajiado to see what is happening on the ground. So after April, we'll be coming to see what is happening on the ground. So I think I will stop there and only
just a
ask
minute.
the senator to make final comments,
Yeah.
and then the governor.
Thank you, Chair. I think there's some hope, Chair, on a number of companies here, particularly Lolaisa. Chair, if you remember very well, the last, I think it was 2024, when we were in KICC, we had a big problem with Lolaisa. But now, I think we have progress. There's some progress. So I just want to thank the governor for bringing in the new team, particularly the manager. You can even see she is very articulate and is able to catch up on a few things. Manager, if you really continue on that progress, and we'll see the progress, good progress ahead, for us to see Ololaisa clearing all the bills, all the areas of staff, and any other bill that is there. I can also look at the Kajiado. Juma, I think you, through the governor, you have a lot of work. Kitengela is not a small town, it's a big town. Now you have water you didn't have before. So we are looking forward to see, at least the Auditor General will not have many problems that we are seeing right now. And I want to assure you, Chair, that Kajiado town has now, at least it has some water and some connections in between. But there is a big problem in Kajiado town of power bills, Kenya Power bills. So I think if you can borrow from the manager or Lisa, then I think we'll see something better. So I think with those few remarks, I want to say there's some progress, though the chair has indicated that we are in ICU. But I think, to me, as somebody who understands where these companies were, I think we have some progress. We are noticing some progress ahead. Thank you very much.
Governor, your final comments.
Chair, honorable members, thank you for this conversation and the guidance we have received. I have no doubt, looking at the water companies where we are now and where we are now and where we are coming from, the issue of going concerns, worries are no longer really something for us to worry. We have taken keen interest in the mode of reporting and the need for evidence. And I want to commit on behalf of the teams that we will improve our evidence to show the progress we are making in terms of reporting. We are happy to welcome you to Kajiado when you visit Chair and your committee, because we know it will enrich our performance and support us to understand more what we need to do, and we continue to appreciate the support we receive from the committee and the other partners here. We hope to work more closely to see whether what really needed not to come up to this level is already addressed on the ground. Otherwise, thank you very much.
So, honorable members, the meeting is adjourned until tomorrow at 9. Kajiado team, safe journey back to Kajiado.